Hey people, in this video I would like to give you a few practical tips on how to clean, maintain and transport your pedals so that they stay in good condition and work for you. Because I've had some students who wanted to work on their foot technique because they thought they had problems there, but they just hadn't lubricated their pedal for years. Taking care of your equipment is actually an important building block for your drumming, and now I'll give you 5 tips on how you can get even more out of your pedals. First, keep the pedal and the area around it clean so that less dust and dirt settles on the pedal. I leave my drumming shoes in the rehearsal room and make sure that they don't get dirty, and above all, always keep the area around the drum kit very clean. I then brush off the pedal itself or wipe it clean, but of course dry. Since the dust collects in the smallest openings, you should clean the pedal thoroughly every now and then, maybe even take it apart. You can also use compressed air spray or, like me, a ball pump to blow the dust out. And if you lubricate the pedal, use very little oil and wipe off any excess, otherwise it will attract dust and dirt and have the opposite effect. Of course, a high humidity also has a negative effect on the pedal. The bearings are usually not made of stainless steel, and moisture can penetrate into the closed ball bearings in the long run. So make sure that the humidity is always around 50%, which is good for your drums anyway, and that the pedal doesn't get wet otherwise. First things first, don't use WD-40, that's more of a solvent. You can use fine oil or chain oil, for example. Most manufacturers also offer special oil for their pedals. Give a little bit on the moving parts, such as the suspension of the spring or the joints of the double pedal shaft, and wipe off all excess oil thoroughly. The hi-hat has fewer moving parts. The chain, some have an extra transmission, and if you're being very exact, also the joint of the foot plate. Ball bearings are usually closed and greased, so you don't have to do anything. With older pedals, or if it has gotten wet, you can put it on its side and put a drop of oil on it and move it a little bit. Then the oil will soak into the bearing, unless they are rubber-covered ball bearings. By the way, you can also use dry fluid instead of oil. This has the advantage that it does not attract dust and it lasts for a long time. If in doubt, look at what parts are built into your pedal, then you can find out how best to maintain them, and if in doubt, simply follow the manufacturer's care instructions. With some transport cases, you bend the beater back in the direction of the footplate. Then you should definitely unhook the spring so that it doesn't wear out. The same applies, by the way, if you don't play the pedal for a long time, but then only if you have a really high tension. In addition, the pedals should never be packed away when they are wet, because then they will rust very quickly. I know that is not always realistic, for example on tour, when you have to pack up your instruments quickly at an open-air concert in the evening when the air is damp or it's even raining. And like everything on the drum kit, the pedals are also a commodity. But try to keep them as dry as possible, and if you pack them up wet, unpack them as quickly as possible and lubricate all the moving parts. In this way you can significantly increase the lifespan and performance of your gear. And as already mentioned, you can of course also replace individual parts. The bearings of the heel plate and the cardan shaft are weak points, especially on cheap pedals. But springs can also wear out. A spare part can be a good investment, or ask ACD Unlimited about upgrading your pedal. Because if you have play somewhere, because some joints are worn out, all lubrication doesn't help, then you have to exchange the parts so that the input that you give through your technique is also efficiently and effectively transferred to the head. I hope these tips have helped you in taking care of your pedals so they work for you. If you want to know more about it, check the link to the full playlist in the description. There you will find an even more detailed video on this topic and a whole range of helpful tutorials to improve your foot technique. See you there, take care and bye bye.